The threat of the Earth War was looming, perhaps not entirely obvious, but slowly growing beneath the surface like a parasite gestating, making ready to burst. The incident involving the Junket vessel garnered the attention of the government but also private interests, namely Bionational, a corporation eager to claim first rights to any xenomorph specimens. Bionational had found themselves at an advantage, having retrieved the pilot of the Junket, James Likowski, who had ejected from the doomed vessel, and was confirmed to be carrying a xenomorph embryo. As per their progress report, the government vessel Benedict has launched on schedule. First in command Colonel Stevens, second in command Corporal Hicks. Our chase ship KO-14 launched in pursuit immediately thereafter, captained by Bionational Executive Assistant Patrick Massey. The government is seeking to retrieve specimens of an alien life form for its weapons development program. If they are successful, this could seriously impact Bionational's claim of sole patent rights on the new lifeform technology. The KO-14's mission is twofold. First, to follow the Benedict to the alien homeworld and gather biological data on the lifeform. Second, to inhibit the Benedict's crew from retrieving a viable test subject. Captain Massey has been given carte blanche toward this end. In the interim, our Bionational research team continues its examination of the specimen salvaged from the ejected pilot's pod of the cargo vessel Junket. The human specimen's pod had been damaged, causing loss of atmosphere, but vital signs were somehow preserved by the infusion of the alien life form. After retrieval, both specimens were brought to Bionational's Houston labs for analysis. Preliminary reports from our weapons specialists are encouraging. Full-scale testing should commence within the next 48 hours. We shall provide daily updates for all members of the Bionational board. The patient, Loukowski, James T., lay in the pressor grip of a state-of-the-art Hyperdyne Systems Model 24042 diagnoster. His EEG, ECG, myotinous level, metabolic rate, systems mitosis rates, and full blood counts flowed in continuous waves, words, and patterns across the monitor. Blood pressure, respiration, and pulse rate were noted and logged. The diagnoster checked and corrected the temperature so the patient was not too cold nor too hot. The IV shunt in his left femoral vein fed him the perfect liquid mix of nutrients for optimum health. An indwelling Foley catheter and rectal drain carried away wastes. The company had spared no expense when it came to taking care of this particular patient. The clean room was under full isolation technique, and all visitors, medical or corporate, wore full osmotic surgical suits with their own air supply. The south wall was mirrored one way, and observers could see the patient directly through the triple-pane glass should they choose. 7 doctors formed the main care team, with 6 medical technicians working in shifts as monitors, plus 18 guards and a full alert status for the entire wing of the Metaplex. Loukowski was not going anywhere, nor was anybody not cleared coming to see him. 2 men stood in the observation room, watching the patient. One was tall, fair, almost bald, and brilliant. He was Tobias Reiner, MD, TAS, PhD, and the team leader. The other man was shorter, darker, hairier, and not quite so smart, but hardly stupid. He was Louis Rain, also MD, TAS, but without the extra doctorate in biosystems. Still, he was a company man and a vice president in the biomed division, which counted for a lot. Reiner was in charge of the patient, but Rain was in charge of the project. As they observed, the creature had lodged itself in the subject's digestive system, drawing relatively insignificant amounts of blood and fluids. Nevertheless, it was growing at an incredible rate. Ethical questions had been raised regarding the propriety of informing the subject, considering the ultimate prognosis. They had a unique opportunity to study the development of an utterly new alien life form. Reactions of the host could be important. Of course he would have to know. Loukowski had been given the news. There was a thing growing inside him. Sooner or later it was going to pop out of him like a birthday surprise, eating its way free, and when it was born, he would die. He had been numb with the shock, and when that had worn off, the fear had claimed him. He was going to die. Dr. Reiner and Dr. Rain were sorry, but there was nothing they could do. "Can't you kill it? Cut it out?" "Not without killing you," Reiner said. It's a very tenacious life form. He was calm, as if he were discussing the weather. Easy for him. He didn't have a monster growing in his belly. So I'm like an incubation chamber for this thing. It was not a question. Yes, listen, if it is any consolation, your wife will get the full insurance. She'll be taken care of. Oh, right. That makes me feel a whole lot better. The sarcasm made the words bitter. Now that he knew what it was, he was sure he could feel the thing moving inside him, getting ready to rip his guts out. No! Hey! He said, putting his hands over his belly. He suddenly stood up next to the bed, made himself sway a little. The doctors showed concern. Loukowski, are you all right? James. They weren't worried about him, he realized, but about their pet creature inside him. Rain backed away. The pain in his stomach increased, a sharp burning, as if a hot knife were being driven into him. An amplified voice said, "Vital signs in flux. Doctors. Heart rate up. Blood pressure rising. Myotinus pushing the limit." Jim glanced at his own body. His bare flesh bulged suddenly, just under his sternum. The pain was incredible. It was time. Reiner reached out and touched the bulge on the patient's solar plexus. The skin immediately flattened. "Amazing," he said. Rain said, "Get in here with the catch net." The man on the table screamed, a primal noise that set Rain's teeth on edge. Lord, what a sound. "Hurry up with that damn net." Rain turned back toward the man on the table. "Won't the pressure field hold it?" Reiner asked. "I doubt it. Insufficient mass. Where the hell is the net?" The amplified voice said, "Nobody is suited up out here. It'll take a minute." "This shouldn't be happening yet," Reiner said. "Our term estimates were obviously wrong," Rain finished. "If somebody doesn't come through the lock in 30 seconds with that catch net, I will fire the entire fucking staff," he yelled. "None of you will ever work in this field again." To Reiner, Rain said, "This specimen is invaluable. Nothing can be allowed to happen to it. Nothing." He leaned over the struggling man. The patient screamed again. His flesh erupted, burst outward, and the alien's blind tooth head came forth. "Good God," Reiner said, leaning away from it. Rain, fascinated, leaned closer. "Why, look at it. Fascinating." "Here's the net," someone said. Rain twisted back toward the patient, too slowly. The thing shot out of the dying man, impossibly fast, like a thick, armored, blood-slick arrow. It hit Rain's clean suit, bit the osmotic material, and chewed through the heavy substance as if it were tissue paper. Rain, horrified, stared at the thing. "Bring the net," Reiner yelled. "Hurry!" Now Rain had sought to bat at the thing, but its head was already inside the protective suit. He felt it reach his skin. "It's biting me! Get it off!" Reiner reached for the thing's tail, but his gloved hand slipped on the gore that coated it. It moved away from his touch, pulling more of itself into Rain's suit. The tech with the catch net grabbed Rain, but the doctor twisted away from him in panic. In his fear, he tried to run from what was attacking him. The inner hatch had not cycled closed. Rain ran for it. "Lewis, no! You'll breach insulation!" Rain was beyond hearing, beyond caring. The only thing that mattered was that this thing was eating into him, burning like molten metal. "Stop him!" Reiner yelled. The tech reached for Rain, missed. Got in Reiner's way. They tangled, fell. Reiner scambled up, in time to see Rain clear the inner lock, lunge for the outer lock's control. "Freeze the control doors!" Reiner yelled. Too late. Rain pounded on the emergency override. The outer door slid wide. He staggered out into the hall. Isolation was blown. Reiner ran after his boss, yelling for him to stop. "Kill it! Kill it!" Rain screamed. The security guards pulled their guns. "No!" Reiner yelled. "Don't shoot it!" The guard looked confused. "Shoot him in the head," Reiner commanded. Now the guards looked really puzzled. "Do it!" The guards didn't move. Rain started to run. He might damage the specimen. Reiner moved. He grabbed a gun from the nearest guard who didn't try to stop him. He raised the weapon. Reiner put the red dot square on the middle of the fleeing man's clean suit helmet, took a deep breath, let part of it out, held it, and squeezed the trigger carefully so as not to pull his aim off. At 12 meters now, it was an easy shot. Rain's head shattered. He fell. Reiner lowered the weapon. "Sorry, Lewis," he said. "But you were the one who said how valuable the alien was. We can't chance hurting it." The guards and techs stared at him. "Now," he said, "bring the catch net." He still had the gun. They all moved very fast. And in the end, they didn't even need the net. Apparently, the thing liked where it was. Good. That made it even easier. Further monitoring and research of the specimen was necessary at this juncture, but for the time being, much weighed on the success of Massey's mission. It was imperative to Bionational's interests to have a firm claim on the Xenomorph. It was, of course, a unique specimen, highly adaptive, immeasurably dangerous, and to a select few, it was a figure of worship. In this series, I'm recounting the Earth War as depicted in the Aliens comic series, and the events leading up to it, as well as its aftermath. The accounts are explored as originally published, despite certain names, locations, and other events having been altered over time. If you missed it, the previous video in this series is The Survival of Hicks and Newt. Stay tuned for the next video, in which I'll be exploring Operation Outreach and more of the Benedict's mission, and Massey's interferences. And as always, I'd like to thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it, and if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like, and you can also subscribe for all the latest videos from the channel. A very, very special thanks goes out to WEYLAND YUTANI executive, EmYarUk, part of the Patreon Hive. If you'd like to join the Hive and support the channel, check out my Patreon page for exclusive posts and contests. In the meantime, you can catch up with Alien Theory over social media. Follow @alien_theory on Twitter and @alientheoryyt on Facebook and Instagram for more. And until next time, this is Alien Theory, signing off.